If you're taking care of yourself, Uranus is on board. If you're taking care of yourself, Uranus brings good karma. All right. Any long-term greed, corruption, any problems with drinking alcohol, any problems with food, any problems with prescription drugs, this is where Uranus will say to you, what are you doing? Now, I have a problem with food and I'm addressing it right now, but it's a battle. It's a huge battle.
Yeah.
You know, like I go line dancing on Wednesday, but there's this woman there that has like pates, and how can you have line dancing and pates? I gotta walk past the pates. Well, guess what's gonna happen?
Just line dance past it. Just line dance.
Just kidding.
Yeah. Just shuffle past. Like puff pass. Do not puff pass.
I agree. It's an addiction. And it's an addiction I now have to recognize. I got a phase, and I'm with Kaiser, so Kaiser loves to have the nurses call you and we just want to talk about how you're doing, and it's like, whatever. Um, oh, what? But in any case, we have to address it though. So here's what I figured out, and you guys let me know if this kind of makes sense to you, especially African Americans. I don't know about you, Stephanie, but maybe you might be affected too. But I have found I am affected, and maybe more African Americans, by anything white and anything white, and any bread products. You too, Stephanie?
A little bit, like a little bit of bloating, I think.
Yes. Right. So there could be a couple of things about that. Maybe the products aren't being made well in the first place. Maybe pasta is only good if pasta is made fresh. I don't know. But we only taste processed, packaged pasta. And maybe to get it that way, there might be some chemicals in the box that don't agree.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, pasta, and we might want to try it. You might want to take pasta off the table for 2 weeks and see how that works. You might want to try, but if you take pasta off the table, you might want to take bread off the table. I mean, let's just try it for 2 weeks and then come back by the end of the class and be like, document what that felt like. You might go through withdrawals and you might fail because it's an addiction. So if you take it off the table, Sunday, by Thursday, you're going to be in a closet eating. You're going to be... How dare anybody take this from me? Because your body is not wanting to do it your way. But Uranus and Taurus is saying to all of us. I literally had a cousin that died of obesity. That's what she died from. Who dies from obesity? My dad had a heart attack at 50 from obesity. Like, it's a problem. My doctors say I'm obese, but I know I don't 100% look it, so I get away with not looking that way. But the BMI and the weight is definitely obese. I'm 5 feet tall. I should not have such a full face. All right? And at this stage of the game, if I lose too much weight, that's when you guys will see the age. Watch. I lose too much weight.
Yeah, like Oprah. When Oprah lost all that weight. Remember when Oprah lost all that weight and then in her face she looked
She
old?
looked disgusting. You notice she's not
Yeah,
trying to
so
get
she needs
back
to pick
down
up
to
some
that.
more weight.
She looked disgusting. She almost looked like she had AIDS. And she couldn't see it. Remember when she was like, da-da, we were like,
She thought she
ah.
looked good.
She thought she looked good.
I'm looking like you look like a big old head on a stick.
It was terrible. What was that diet?
Weight Watchers.
Back in the day, it was Weight Watchers?
I don't think it was Weight Watchers then, but recently it's been Weight Watchers. But I don't know what that was back then.
God knows. It was terrible.
I think she might have been on those diet pills.
Well, back in the day, the diet pills were the rage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I could see that too. But in any case, Uranus in Taurus. So the Fool is Uranus. And remember, Uranus is about kicking ass. Like, they're surprised. Hey, no, that's not the way it's supposed to go. Sorry. And it doesn't make sense when Uranus enters your house, right? And it's not karma. It's two different things. You know, I get a lot of people that say, I'm having a series of bad luck. It could be just Uranus. Because if you're stuck doing the same things over and over again, Uranus will keep snatching it out your hand until you get the memo that you're not doing right. All right? So, what is your Uranus, though? Let's look at it. Who's got Uranus issues that you think you need to work on right now? Nadia, what you
My
got?
laziness at work.
Me?
Yeah.
Attitude.
Oh. What do you do for a
I have
living?
whew.
What do you do for a living?
What I've been trying to do to prevent it?
No. What do you do for a living?
Oh, I'm a bartender.
You carry attitude to work as a bartender? I need
Oh,
my.
yeah, I don't take no mess.
Huh?
I don't take no mess. I listen to, okay. All right, I'm around people that are intoxicated, but I'm not intoxicated.
Right.
So, I'm good to a fault, but then it's like, if you cross the line, it's kind of like, you gotta go. You understand? Like, you have to go, like, right now.
Have you ever
Yes, I
gotten
can't
into trouble?
No, never.
So.
It's kind of more like, when I mean attitude, to be able to, from work, to transfer from work to regular. So you get what I'm saying? It's kind of like, okay, you deal with alcohol. Well, I wouldn't call them alcoholics.
No, they're alcoholics. It's okay. They're alcoholics. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Most of them are.
All right. Well. Okay. So once you deal and transfer to go from here to go home, you want your home to be like a sacred space, right?
Yeah.
So in my situation, because you know you've done a reading for me before, I moved into another situation. Now it's kind of like my neighbor is an alcoholic. So it's kind of like, I don't want to be judgmental, but I don't want to come home and I come in my driveway and then I got to talk to your creepy alcoholic. Hey.
And there's no way to just be like, hey neighbor, I wish I could talk. I am so tired. You can't do that?
Oh, I've tried.
No. Let's fix that. There's no trying. He doesn't control that. He doesn't control how you go from your car to your house. Because if you don't control that tells me you can't control your men that you date.
Oh, no, I got a handle on that.
Okay.
That's never like that.
Because I have a neighbor like that too, who stands outside smoking. I think she's adorable. I sit in my car and I beg God. I go, how do I walk away from her? So I just figured out that I go, hey, Leslie, and then I just keep it moving. One day she had like bandages all over her face. I didn't even ask. I didn't want to get baited, not even for the bandages.
And it's sad when you gotta do that, but hey,
It's
you gotta protect
terrible.
yourself.
But I just can't do this. And sometimes I'm going to work. Not going to work. I'm going somewhere. And I just want to get in my car and keep it moving. And today she was standing outside and the bandages have disappeared. And so I always wave in my car because I have to pass us. I always wave. And I got in, but I needed something out the trunk. I needed a bottle of my water out the trunk, which meant she was going to face me like this. And she stood out in the middle of the rain and she said, it's raining.
Duh.
Right.
That's where I'm at. I'm right there.
Right.
I'm right there.
It's raining. Right. So I played it off, of course. I'm like, yeah, it's raining. Okay, gotta go. I was like, be safe in the rain. It's gonna pour, so don't stay out. But I keep walking. You gotta practice that because that is something that you're being taught and you're not exercising your power.
Right.
So you have to figure it out. You have to be like, oh, love you, love to talk, gotta go to sleep. But you have to practice it.
Yeah.
I see your frustration, and I'd rather you practice doing the right thing than to one day blow up. Or I'd rather you practice doing the right thing, but get frustrated as you're coming home. As you're coming home, you're getting frustrated. The person's there. You're more frustrated. You get in your house and you're frustrated. Does alcoholism run in your family?
Yes.
So there's an irony in all of this. Alcoholism runs in your family. You work at a bar, and you have a neighbor that's an alcoholic and annoying. What is God trying to teach you?
Get away from alcoholics.
It is just that simple.
I mean, really.
It is just that
I mean,
simple.
really, because it's rough.
Especially for those family members that don't want to give it up. It is just that simple.
Yes.
To operate in a way where you don't engage. And so your neighbor represents your family. So God is trying to teach you something with your neighbor so that you could deal with your family. Ironically, on your job, you handle alcoholics. You don't transition well. But it is just exercising personal power, which is, I'm not a drinker, I'm not going to engage, I'm sorry that you're having a problem. When you're not drunk, we can readdress this. But you don't have to say that to them out loud. You could just say it to yourself and just excuse yourself and practice that power. Anybody else has any Uranus issues that they think they need to deal with? Sorry.
Yeah.
What's that, Annette?
People who always belling, I call them bellers. Now somebody tell you they're gonna do something and then they don't even call you and don't let you know that they changed their mind. I don't mind if somebody changed their mind or they don't want to do it. But if you tell me something like, even it's the day before, not the day of and I'm getting ready, and nobody calls and says anything, and then I call them and they belling out. That drives me crazy. Because I'm like, you could have called me and told me that you wasn't.
Do you say that though? Do you say that?
Yeah, I say that. I always tell people anyway. One thing I can't stand is when somebody bail out and don't say anything. It doesn't matter if you don't want to do it. That's fine. But courtesy-wise, call somebody and say you don't want to do it, or you can't make it.
Or change the language and just say, okay, remember we have a date at 12 on Thursday, but if you need to not go, please call.
I've done that,
And still?
and still, that one friend of mine, I just stopped dealing with her.
I was going to say, are they
Because-
friends?
Yeah, she was a friend. We used to do a lot of things together, and then because she kept doing that, and I said, I'm done.
Good,
I'm not going to keep.
good. Because it actually doesn't sound like she's a friend.
No, I mean, we used to hang out a lot and do a lot of things together.
Doesn't mean that she's a friend. It means she hangs
Yeah.
out with you because it was compatible for her time and her availability.
Right, and that's fine too.
Oh no, I think it's a user.
You go out when you want to go out. I don't care if you don't want to go out. It's just that you're calling somebody and say, or texting and say, hey, I won't be able to make it. Then I'm like, okay. But not to do any of that in the day of.
It's
and you
rude
don't
and it's
do anything,
inconsiderate.
That's rude.
Yeah.
So I don't like when people do that. And I've
Yeah.
been having a lot of that come my way.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. I said the same thing. I said, okay, Lord, what are you trying to tell me? I keep getting this from people. What is going on?
That
What are you showing
maybe
me?
you need new friends.
Yeah. Spirit has said that to me.
Hmm.
I said, okay. Okay.
So one of my clients who I adore has been having some boyfriend issues that's been going on for way too long. Just way too long. And he finally had a baby on her. But they weren't dating, but in the back of her mind, she was like hoping on a wing and a prayer that he would come back and blah, 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 blah. And so she finally hears that he had a baby, so she had to deal with that. And all of this hurts, right? Even though they weren't dating. Like, I get where she's coming from. And they're both teachers, and in the 4 years, he would come to talk to her when he needed something from her. So if he needed certification or a book that everybody's like, she has the book, he would shuffle on in and he would be like, hey, how you doing? And she would get the memo after the fact because she was so much more happier to be talking with him, which he controlled. And so finally, this baby's born, and I said to her, how are you going to handle when he comes back from his paternity leave? And she's like, I'm just going to ignore him. Well, as it turned out, she is trying to leave the school that she's at. And she's taken on a really good project. And I said to her, people are going to find out. I said, when people find out, you deny it. You go, what? I don't know anything. Who says that? Right? Because I had a funny feeling somebody was going to piggyback. I didn't think it was going to be Mr. Sloppy over here. He comes over to her at some, school meeting, and he does the old shuffle. Hey, how you doing? And then he goes on to tell her, yeah, I had a baby born, and, he's so adorable, and I was going to leave, but then I got it, the school offered me to stay. And interesting enough, she was asking him questions. So when she was telling me the scenario, I was like, no, why did you have this long conversation with this idiot? Why did you ask questions? Like, why do you need that memory of him and his girlfriend and you ask the questions? Let it go. Right? Well, she got a little mad at me. And I said, you've got to exercise your power. And she did admit, she goes, sometimes I just wish he would talk to me. I just wish we could be friends. And I was like, in 4 years, he's never given you that friendship. In 4 years. And so she didn't talk to me for a while. And this is her Uranus and Taurus. That's why I'm bringing it up. And yesterday I spoke to her, and she says, she has a job elsewhere now, which also I think gives her the power to stretch, how she's feeling. And he did the old shuffle again. And he said something like, hey, how you doing? Something like that. And she says to him, you don't give a fuck about how I'm doing. I was like,
Good
what?
for her.
I was like, what?
Yeah.
And she said she saw him trying to back up. And she said, no, don't back up. This is just the God's honest truth. We don't give a fuck about what I'm doing. Don't ask anymore. Blah, 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 blah. But she really went into a power stint to give herself some closure. And I remember I kept telling her, you're not angry enough. You're not angry enough. Because it's stages that we go through. And anger is one of those stages that lets us release this person, whoever this person is. And so I was like, oh, you know what? When you get to anger, you'll be done. Well, it was years in the making. But she got to the anger. She dealt with her Uranus and Taurus. If she did not deal with her Uranus and Taurus and took this job, she would have went there and would have kept the memory of him following with her. But she handled it. And I was like, how did you feel? And she said, free. And I was like, well, damn. So that's the type of Uranus and Tauruses that I'm trying to tell you guys. That's important. All right? What's your... And there's other stuff going on, by the way, that we're going to go over. It's not just Uranus and Taurus. It's Pluto retrograde. It's Saturn retrograde. Like, we have to deal with our ugly now. All right? And it's not pretty to look at. But when we're dealing with those angst, that stuff that makes us like, oh, I'm so angry about this. That's when you have to go, where's my issue? What am I doing wrong? And you got to fight to see it. You got to fight. And if you don't fight, I'm going to fight for you. We've got to look at our ugly.
I think mine is attitude.
Attitude too? Man, that black girl anger.
Yeah, and I think it's more prevalent at work because I got this new position that you guys know about, but the boss has changed and it's nothing like it was supposed to be. I feel like a glorified secretary. So I go in there upset and mad, and when people point their fingers at me and say, I need you to, that just drives me up a freaking wall. But I think I need to adjust my attitude and maybe it'll get better.
Are you allowed to have conversations about people pointing their finger at you? Is that something that could be a bigger problem if you say something?
No, so I kind of cut it nip it in the bud, because when the guy did it yesterday, because when I first there, I don't know what's for me to do with what people are trying to dump on me.
Right.
So now, 4 weeks later, I have a little bit more idea. So when he did that yesterday, I said, was there a please and fine with that?
Right.
And then he said, yes. And I said, now what was it you were asking me?
Right.
And then I just made him reset.
Right. You know, I find when you need to discipline people, I find if you talk to them like I would talk to my 5-year-old grandchild. That way you're not anger anymore. You can't keep yelling at a 5-year-old kid, right? But you have to train the kids. You have to be like, if Ezra doesn't say thank you and I go, do you want me to take that back, or did you want to say thank you? Do you want me to do this right away? Because I work better if someone says please and thank you. And just really give a chance for that to sink in. Like pause. And that's not attitude. That actually displays that person's attitude, and it gives him a chance to work better with you. But again, it's going to be his choice.
Right.
But as long as you're saying something, because if you don't say something, attitude rings a whole nother level.
Yeah, and I also think in the same thing, I'm supposed to find my voice in all this too.
Right. Right.
I've been doing this all week.
What have you been doing?
Speaking up. And I missed my opportunity yesterday when some fool called me
oh yeah, the colored girl said that. I was like, dang, I missed my opportunity.
Okay.
I was like, I wish you came back into the courtroom so I could say, thanks for recognizing my superiority over you. I wanted the opportunity, but I was denied.
Someone stopped you? Someone blocked you from doing it?
He didn't come back into the courtroom, so we were waiting on him to come back next month so my judge can lay it out to him.
Good.
Because he's not going to get that child for a while, since he said a racial slur.
You know, but at least you have someone supporting you.
Yeah, they was more upset. They didn't understand why I wasn't more upset. I was just like, I've been called the N-word before by my middle school teacher.
Wow.
I'm like, why should I get upset by somebody showing their own ignorance? I got other things to worry about. Like, I have a whole workload I need to get done. Screw him.
Good point.
But yeah, I've been speaking up. I think I've been learning the same lesson Erica said that she needs to be learning, and I've been more adamant about being more vocal with defending myself.
Yes.
Sometimes I think I need to pull back a little bit because it's like I'm constantly defending myself from other people or other people doing something to me, and I'm like, I'm in constant defense mode. So I'm trying to learn the balance. But yeah, I miss speaking up a lot, and I do it on a daily basis because I work in the courtroom and I work with attorneys who think they like a step below God.
Yeah.
So I just tell them, like Tracy says, okay, so do you want your case heard now, or do you want your case heard when I feel like it?
Right. Or I work best under
I
pleas.
control that, technically.
Right. I work best with your tone. I work best under pleas. Like, we should try it a whole nother way. And you could do that, Erica, without losing your job. You know what I mean? Like, and get it in there early, by the way. Don't wait. Don't wait until it's too late. Meaning, it is up to you to practice how you're going to teach them how to treat you.
Okay. Thank you, everybody.
Let us know how that works out. And be kind to yourself. Even if someone's not kind to you, be kind to yourself as you're trying to help teach them. It's not a win-win. Do you know what I mean? You're not trying to win over them. So if it's an epic fail, don't beat yourself up. It'll be a learned, you'll learn how to deal with them. At the same time, you should not take shit. So. You're not a secretary. That's not how you were hired. So, they have to figure that out as you have to figure out what your job description is. All right?
Thank you.
You're welcome. The magician. The magician is associated with Mercury. Mercury is our communications planet. All right? Also, the magician literally means to have all the tools necessary to get the job done. I know sometimes in terms of the magician and mercurial energy, like I took Spanish like years ago, but every once in a while I can get stuck in a situation and I can come up with enough vocabulary to communicate with someone. All of a sudden, it just all comes back. As soon as I have the conversation, I don't even remember what I said to them. They're happy though. You know what I mean? Magical energy all of a sudden. All right. The next card is the High Priestess, and in the Witch's Tarot, the High Priestess does have the moon in it. And in the Witch's Tarot, it's designed like the witch symbol. So I believe it has the crescent moon in it. I think it's at her feet or something like that.
Yeah, mine have a crescent moon at her feet too.
Uh-huh. Oh, see? Yes. All right, and she deals in light and dark energy. No, she deals in. She deals with. It's not light and dark energy. It's hidden knowledge. All right, so she deals with truths and untruths. So the magician is the one that doesn't tell you the whole story. All right. Did you go to school today? I sure did, Mom. What you didn't ask is if he stayed in school. Hidden knowledge. Carrying secrets. Very, very deceptive. The pull of the moon. It's not that you didn't lie. You didn't say what you wanted to hear. You wanted me to tell you everything. That's not what you asked, though. All right? And so my roommate here, my roommate left, by the way. And my roommate here, she came in with the job, and then she lost her job. But she came in with the job with the agreement that she would be out in just a few weeks. Well, she lost her job. And when she lost her job, your patterns change. Like, what part of, I know when you're out of my house, like you're in my living rooms, I know when you're getting out of my house. And she stopped getting out of my house. What part of, I was going to figure it out? So I waited for like 3 days, and I was like, are you working? And she goes, oh, I've been meaning to tell you. When were you going to mean to tell me?
Was she thinking you wasn't going to notice?
I don't know. I can't figure it out. That's it. So I just straight up called her a liar. And that triggered something in her. And she goes, I'm not a liar. And I was like, oh, yes, you are. Right, Stephanie? Because it's the pull of the moon. It's I said omission of the truth is a lie. In any court of law, the last thing you want to hear is somebody kept the truth from you. Or hid it under a pack of stacks of papers, hoping you wouldn't find it. Omission of the truth is a lie. So I said that to her. So now I think I'm stuck with a roommate. And so I keep talking to Spirit, and I was like, what do I do, Spirit? What do I do? Because I'm getting more angry. Right? Sounds familiar, ladies? I'm getting more angry. And as the days going by, like, I work from my home. And one day, like, she didn't realize this was the final straw, but I tell you, I have, famous people. And a really famous person was coming to my house. My mistake was telling her who was coming. And I said to her, you must be gone by 3.
Was it me?
Yes, Stephanie. And I said to her, you must be gone by 3. We were in the car together. It was about 1:30, and she goes, I'm going to go. And I thought, great. I text her to make sure she was not in the house. I bring the person around, and she's sitting on the steps. It's just disrespectful. Like, there's so many degrees of not being. So that was the final straw, but I still couldn't say anything. So I finally called her sister, and I told her, sister, I feel like I'm being taken advantage of. That's my son's wife. And then she protected her. And I said, listen, I've been at this rodeo. And I said, Brian, you better tell her. Meaning, I kicked my own son out. My pet peeve is not working. So I was like, Brian, you better tell your wife. Meaning, she's not my family. I kicked my own son out. So imagine what I'm going to do with non-family. In any case, God loves me. She's gone. It was just stressful. I was, look, my best friend Fletcher, he died, so I didn't have that sickness to worry about. Tony's being taken care of. And then I take on a roommate that's not working. All right. Uranus and Taurus. Sorry. Mercurial energy, the magician. I had all the tools to get this happening. Meaning I had to communicate. Meaning I had to find the most effective way to communicate, even if there was some combative language going back and forth. I'm not taking advantage of you. No, really, you are. And it's okay. You don't realize it. But there's never been an offer of money, even though I would have denied it, but there was not even an offer. But I did ask her if I can have her air conditioner, because she has 2 very powerful air conditioners. She said it was way in the back of storage, so it's hard for her to get to it. So,
am I the only one that's sensing like everybody's got like a balance of emotional attitude thing going on? Like somebody's kind of just pushing that button. It seems like on everybody.
yeah.
Yeah, like somebody's got somebody that's like tapping on that button,
Mm-hmm.
and you're trying to control what you say so you're not mean or angry.
Exactly.
Just, you know, as if they claim all black and brown women are just evil and hateful and mean, but they're not realizing that you're pushing that button.
Well, first of all, I don't believe that everyone believes all black and brown women. I think black women are. That's what they believe, not brown women. Brown women get away with murder because they're just so cute. We don't come across cute. We come across angry.
Well, in my area, I'm gonna say where I'm at in the
Yeah.
region area I'm at, it's looked at as all black and brown women are angry.
Wow. Sorry to hear that.
All, like me and my Spanish friend, we can be standing beside each other having a good conversation.
Yeah.
And it'll go like, oh, what are y'all talking about? Like, oh, like you just can't be having a conversation about the flowers or a conversation about a book. Oh, well, what y'all doing, sisters? Okay, hold up. First of all, yes, just okay, hold it.
I mean, not
Pump your brakes. I mean, it's not like, okay, and my Spanish friend, she's more apt to not really say anything, but I'm more like, okay, look, we're over here talking about some flowers. If you like to get this flower conversation, you're more than welcome to, and come on over and talk with us. And then, here we go. What are you sisters over here gossiping about? What?
Don't you just love when they try to be down? Just saying.
So, okay. And I'm like, alrighty. So, we can't have a conversation about a flower. We're talking about some crazy episode of something on TV. You know, we all don't watch Love and Hip Hop. We all don't watch this or that. You know, you don't have to come into conversation like, did you see the Housewives of Atlanta? Or the Housewives of this or that? And I'm like, we was just talking about these sunflowers. I mean, how pretty they were. And, you know, so, I don't know. That's where I'm at. I think I got a whole attitude adjustment I need to work on. Because my Spanish friend, she was like, you know what? It's not even worth it. I'm like, I'm addressing this. We're not gossiping. We're talking about sunflower. If you don't pick yourself up. So, anyway, I'm off topic.
No, I get it though.
You funny. I like you. But it's the truth though. But I'm around at work. I'm around people that encourage my bad behavior. So
Encourage it?
and they're white. So if I don't do it, they do it for me. So I'm like,
got it now.
But I also
There you
think
go.
you've been there. How many
That's it.
years
We were
have
at
you been there?
Panera.
huh?
Panera.
How many years have you been there?
Huh?
How many years have you been there?
Been at my job?
Uh-huh.
in this particular courtroom, I've been in this particular courtroom almost 2 years now.
Oh, okay. All right. So that's fairly new in terms of getting to know your personality.
Yeah, they knew my personality before I became their official clerk. That's why they stole me from the other one.
Mm-hmm.
Because I fit with their cray-cray.
Mm-hmm.
But so I'm more apt to be like, okay, yeah, I'm not about to put y'all. I'm just going to let this one, the crazier one, deal with you. And then I'm going to sit here and laugh at you while you get your kids taken away.
All right, let's move on. The Empress is associated with Venus. Venus is a siren. Venus gets what she wants. All right? She loves beauty. She has not a single problem with love and bringing in love. You see some of these women that can get a boyfriend after boyfriend after boyfriend after boyfriend. I don't know how some of them are gifted.
That's my sign, so.
Well, because you're Taurus.
No, I'm a Libra.
Libra. I was going to mention that. So, Libra, ironically, is associated with justice in the tarot deck, which makes sense. But astrologically, it's also associated with Venus. And yes, Libras can't be without partners. All right? So, they're just partner people.
Yeah, we don't do well single.
Y'all don't do well single. And it's okay. Ironically, Taurus is Venus energy. They actually can be alone. But that's because their focus is on money. But they love family. So when they commit to somebody, they tend to commit their very heart.
And I'm with the Taurus.
You're with the Taurus too. Oh, you're Taurus and Libra. Yeah. Some readjustment with that. Are you guys figuring out what the adjustments look like?
To a certain degree. It's
Okay.
a lot of give and take. And it's like I see it more on my end of the, what's the word, the C word I want to use? Compromise on my end. Because I just want to just keep the freaking peace. But when he pushed the button and pushed me over the edge, he gets it.
Yes, but remember, he's in his Uranus and Taurus. He's still being stubborn. He doesn't recognize how stubborn he's being. You know, it will catch up to him. But my prayer is that, because he doesn't realize. So my prayer is that your Libra will balance out what he's being so stubborn about. Because all fixed energies are going to get it. So I'm hoping you guys work things out, even though it might be somewhat in his way. But in any case, let's move on. The Emperor is Aries. The Hierophant is associated with Taurus. All right. The Lovers is with Gemini, which, you know, it's starting to make sense a little. The Chariot is associated with Cancer. The Strength card is Leo. And when you see other people's readings, the two cards that you see pop out the most is Strength and the Emperor. It seems like everybody knows that those two cards are associated: Emperor Aries, Strength Leo. You never really see that they can associate other cards, other signs with the cards. So every once in a while, you'll get a Strength card, although I would prefer that you would describe what Strength means In this instance, it's okay to say maybe Leo, because it's very specific Leo. Maybe Cancer. Chariot's very specific Cancer, not just a water sign. But then when you pull more cards and the Chariot comes up, you're going to go, Chariot kind of means Cancer, so I thought I was looking for a water sign man. It might be a Cancer man. Do you see how you can play it a little bit? The Hermit is Virgo, which makes sense to me because Virgos are so insular. They're quiet. They don't make waves unless they're born in August. Virgos are so loud, so obnoxious. Virgos are not. September Virgos are not. They're quiet. But half the times you never know what they're thinking. They're always looking for enlightenment, particularly if it means in money. But half the times you never know what they're thinking. And when Virgos come out of their shell, almost everyone is shocked. Like, you did what? Like, that's not your character. But maybe it is. They're just so quiet, you actually don't know what their characters are. The Wheel of Fortune is associated with Jupiter. And I think Jupiter is one of my planets I wanted to go over today. Jupiter. Saturn.
Is Jupiter in retrograde now?
No, darn it. No, Pluto, Neptune, and Saturn.
Oh, okay.
Libra, justice is for Libra, which makes sense. The scales, balance, emotional balance, actual balance of things. You'll never see a Libra not see the other person's point of view. They're always, well, maybe they were trying to say this. All right? The Hangman is Neptune. So we're going to step into Neptune's retrograde. So Neptune is retrograde June 18th, coming up through November 24th. Neptune retrograde, which also is associated with the Hangman, the sacrifice card. Retrograde is a totally different meaning. It means to see through the bullshit. It means to finally see that you've been duped. It means the illusion is gone. It means clarity and deeper insight, like a childhood trauma where you're like, wait, this happened to me and this is where I think it started. Do you understand? It means to look past the veil, past the mask. All right? It means finally letting go of fantasy. Remember, like I've always had a dream of going back to school. Not that I can't do it. It's just that I don't want to do it now. So I'm beyond the fantasy. I could still do it, but I want to do it in a metaphysical kind of way, not in a traditional kind of way. So looking past the fantasy. And I'm telling you, there's not a college campus, community school that I did not pass, that I did not want to invest in going to school. And I would even take adult classes because I just wanted to be a part. Now I could pass a school system like I was at USC yesterday. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. The desire is gone. I'm done with the fantasy of whatever that means, and I'm okay with it. My life, I'm okay. Not numbing the pain or hide from the truth. Numbing the pain is alcohol, all right? Drugs, alcohol, but you don't want to do this anymore. You also don't want to hide from yourself. Like, how did this happen to me? What's your childhood trauma? What can you now speak out loud? All right? And then to find positive outlets. yoga, mantras, tarot class. Because as we learn that we are being motivated by some childhood crap, and now we're molded, but whatever this is doesn't feel good. None of this feels good. So now we're just here. So now I can acknowledge, yeah, I had some childhood trauma. Like, I know it, I understand it, I see where it started. What do I do to fix it now? How do I get...
Nadia,
Huh?
may I ask you a question?
Hello?
Nadia, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So when you said you have that line that they cross and then you have to shut them out, go home. And when you see your neighbor, what is that feeling that you get that makes you say, that's it? Or is it they're starting to get physically sloppy?
For me, it's just, I don't know. I just started feeling like, you know what? If you don't get out of my face, I'm about to tell you what I really think about you. And it's just, I think I tolerate too much, just to tell the truth. Like, say you're coming into your home, right? Just like Tracy was saying. And the lady's out there and she's telling you, and I don't know, I had this biggest thing with, okay, you telling me something I already know. Everybody knows it's raining outside. Why are you telling me it's raining? I mean, are you an idiot? And we didn't get, just generalized stupidity makes me angry. Just stuff like that. So to sit and tolerate it, I think I do it because, I think everybody needs to get, sometimes you need to depress when you get home. You be like, oh, well, let me speak to this person, say nice, a couple words, and then you keep it moving. But some people don't understand how to keep it moving. So that, it angers me, I think, in a way. Because I'm like, you know what, you're telling me things that obviously everybody out here can see. It's raining. Okay, so you want me to stand out here in the rain with you and get wet? Because you want to get wet? And you have nothing better to do with your time?
Okay. All right.
But does the anger go way back, though? Was there a point where this happened and you couldn't escape in your childhood? You were forced to deal with sloppy people.
Yes.
That's where it's coming from.
Yes.
I think that's where you're
Yes.
getting to, Erica, right?
Yeah, yeah, it is. I was just like, something came over me to ask to help her get to the point of contention, and Tracy said it.
Yeah. So
Yes.
it's that childhood energy that is really just still with you that you're not dealing with. And interesting enough, like some childhood energy, people sense in us. You think this man can't sense he's taking advantage? Is it a man or a woman? You think she can't sense that she's taking advantage of you?
Got it. You hit the nail on the head.
Right. Because that's what you're exhuming, though. Because that's something that was never taken care of. Because maybe you couldn't, by the way. Maybe you had no way of controlling your environment when you're a child. So you grow up until you're just here. And now you're this adult, an intelligent adult, but these little things that don't let you be an adult, doesn't let you use your voice. So if we acknowledge how that occurred, did it occur with mom, dad, older brother, older sister? Like, what did that look like when you had to sit there and deal with something in terms of someone making you do something and you did not have a voice? Because today you do. Maybe you couldn't handle the childhood trauma, and maybe the best thing you could have, I know for me personally, Nadia, if I would have said, because I always thought my mama was crazy. If I would have said to her, you're crazy, like my grandson says to me, they would it would be full on violence. And so now you're an adult, and now I feel like you might be fighting that person, but it's coming at you in different people. And I feel like Spirit is saying, you got a voice? Not anger. Do you have a voice? It's safe to use it. Anger's not necessary. It's safe to exercise your voice. I'm sorry, Miss Jane. I really have to go. I'd love to talk to you about the rain. But I go through the same thing because I had a crazy mom. So when I sit in my car, I'm like, what do I do, God? What do I do? So I always go through this. It's a practice. Only when I see this one woman, by the way. I don't have my problem speaking my voice with anybody else. Just this one character. But the challenge is there. And you have to know when Spirit is practicing with you. She is safe to practice. She is safe to say something to. That way you don't do it at work and lose your job. If you lose the friendship of a neighbor, thank God.
Thank you, Sensei.
Oh no, she's good.
No, Erica, that was a good question to go back to.
Yes.
Because Pluto...
Very good question.
Yeah, good for you. Like, you had to make her, like, really, like, go for it. I just topped it off with ice cream. Focus on the authentic when Neptune shows up. Put your roots in what is real. Now, I sent this to you guys, so you're going to have this, because these are the things you're going to have to work on. No more fantasy when Neptune retrograde comes up, not coming up until June 18th, but no more fantasy. What is real? What is not real? What are childhood traumas that now you're being like, oh my God, I've got this memory. What the hell? We can deal with it safely, in a safe place. And as you're dealing with anything that comes up, replace it with nice things. Replace it with mantras, yoga, meditation, tarot class. Replace it so that we can open up the treasure trove of negative stuff and start releasing that shit. We want that tank emptied when all is said and done. And we want to feel better about ourselves when all is said and done. We want to be able to operate through life and be like, hey, Miss Jane. And you don't have to fight anymore. What that looks like. Because Miss Jane might be your mama, might be your daddy. Miss Jane is representative of somebody totally, so in any case, that's what Neptune is going to bring for us, right? Death is Scorpio, but death in other places is also Pluto. So if you hear somebody say, this is the planet Pluto for death, Scorpio for death, it's the same thing. So we're going to go to Pluto retrograde, which is happening right now. And Pluto retrograde is looking at the roots of problems and situation. So we got some back-to-back planets that's going to make us deal with a lot of our personal uglies. It is not going to be good, but we are going to make it through. I promise you. All right? So, looking at the roots of problems and situations, moving past where we have been held back. All right? Facing your shadow. That's a good one. This Is Us was about their personal shadow, facing your shadow. My shadow, I would think, is, of course, food. And I would think my shadow is alcohol. You know, I can spend long periods not drinking, and then let me pick up a bottle tonight. I will drink for a week. Because somewhere inside of me is my mama. Somewhere inside of me is DNA. I gave up drinking since I was 30 until I was 50. I met a guy that I liked and he loved to drink, and I was like, oh, I'll go back to drinking. Shadow. I didn't take care of myself. I let a guy pull me back in. And I drank every weekend. So I'm not upset with myself because I don't overdo it, but it's still my shadow. I gotta acknowledge it. I gotta acknowledge that there's always a potential to go left. Just admitting the truth. Facing your shadow. Truth rising to the surface. Oh, talk about some ugly stuff. Transformation. Just because something comes up and you have to deal with it doesn't mean you're not going to come out the better for it. Also, it may not be your ugly. It may be somebody else's ugly that's affecting you. You might have to deal with these things. All right? Let go of what no longer is in your highest good. And know what that is. Sometimes sometimes you just gotta let your friends go. My friend Fletcher died. I have a friend of 30 years, but she's in the East Coast, and my friend Fletcher died, and she never acknowledged it. Never. But she purposely posted all kinds of selfies, and it's not even her character. I was like, what is this? Because that's not even your character, to myself. And then I realized, well, at least I'm guessing, but one of her problems is that if I ever had interracial friendships, and that's the only thing I could figure, because no one knew about Fletcher. Do you know what I mean? And so when he finally died, like, it was a big announcement, but everybody's like, oh, we never get to know her personal life, and he was not black. And that's the only thing I could figure, because that was always her problem with me. But I don't see.
She didn't like you having. She didn't like you having different cultural friends.
Male friends.
Unless she wanted you all to herself.
Well,
some people can't deal with, sharing their friends with other people.
I mean, that could be a good assessment, because I remember when we were friends, most of my friends were her and her family. It's not like I had an additional friend. And as a matter of fact, now that I'm thinking about it, I did have a friend and she couldn't stand her. Or maybe I don't know. But it's 30 years of separation. Like, I knew her in my 20s. I haven't been in Jersey since my son was 2. I think we left when he was like 6 or 7. He's 30 now. But we always kept in touch, and then Facebook made it easier to watch the kids grow up and go through things. And she never not acknowledged anything. Like, how could you, she always acknowledged. And so this brought up some past history, Pluto in retrograde, dealing with some shadow shit. Let go of what no longer is in your highest good. And so I struggled and I struggled, and I was like, I don't want to look at her. I don't want to look at her. I don't want to look at her family. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. But I also didn't want to have the conversation. But I do remember, she's not supportive, because I remember when my dad died, she missed the funeral. When my mom died, because a lot of things are coming up now. Now I'm talking to you guys. She missed the funeral made it to the church but missed the funeral and had the nerve to say, I could tell every one of your family members because you all have the same body shape. When I looked behind, they were all like in a row, like waiting to get in their limousines but talking. When I looked at them, and I don't even like my family, everybody was obese. Everybody. So I was like, wait, what are you,
What you trying to say?
what's happening here?
Mm.
You know what I mean? And
Don't shade.
and I also know that I'm obese. Like, I didn't need you to, because
Point it out.
what was
It's not a
that?
friend.
And then when my mom died, now that I'm thinking about it, now I will block her. When my mom died, all week long, I was having such problem. I remember she kept saying, I'm going to come see you. I'm going to come support you. Because we were friends for years, so she knew my family. And she never showed up. And I remember the day before the funeral, I guess I called. I don't know if texting was out back then. And I said, this is the address, this is the time. I remember not hearing back from her. And at my mom's funeral, I had no support. My sister worked for NYPD, so there was a whole row of NYPD there for my mom. And so it was only me and my mentally challenged sister, supporting each other. Because my friend was not there. But in any case, Fletcher dies and she does it again. And I'm like, I gotta deal with this. What am I doing? I've gotta let her go. And I'm okay.
Is Fletcher the one that Kelly and I met twice?
Yes! Yeah!
He's a sweetheart.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
was a sweetheart.
Thank you.
It is something in how it takes us so long when something is right in our face.
My
And it
parents
takes
died
so
15
long
years
to
ago.
figure it out.
Why am I just
It is
noticing it with
something.
Fletcher? I should have just dropped that bitch when she didn't show up for my mother's funeral.
Right. It takes us a while to figure things out because I'm just figuring out one of my friends. I've been friends for a long time. But whenever she calls, the whole conversation is about whatever's going on with her life. And I'm sitting there listening to it. We can be on the phone for hours. And she doesn't answer me.
Mm-hmm.
But she'll eventually answer me. So what you been doing? By that time, we both tired. Because I've been listening to her. And then if I do say anything about what's going on to my life, I can tell she's not paying attention.
She's ready to go.
And,
She's already
yeah,
exhausted herself on you.
because she been talking me to death about whatever going on in her life. I told her one time, I said, you know what you should do when you first call me is just start out by saying, once upon a time. Because then the story goes, and it's a story, see stories, and it's about her family and everything. And I'm listening because most people, my friends, I'm the listener. They're the talkers.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just realized that she don't be paying attention to anything that's really going on in my life. She really don't know a whole lot about what's going on in my life. But I know everything about what's going on in her life. Everything that's going on in her family's life, her kids' life. And then I got to the point now, I said, well, I guess I don't even care to tell her what's going on with my life because I'm tired by the time I get finished hearing all about what's going on in her life.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just figuring it out that she's not hearing anything that's going on with my life. And I've been listening to her for years.
And that she may not be a friend.
Yeah, so I'm thinking the same thing. Maybe
Because-
it's time to let her go.
So this started April 24th through October 3rd. So that's a long time. And it says pay attention to patterns and what is dragging you down.
Yeah, because all of her patterns are toxic stuff that's going on in her life. And I usually don't want to hear all of that. And sometimes if she tells me too much stuff that's toxic, I have to tell her I can't listen anymore. Because through her childhood, there was a lot of
trauma. We lost her at that point. See, Spirit didn't want us to know the toxic stuff either. Spirit saved
killing me. And so she couldn't even stop talking about it. And I had to tell her again, enough.
Right.
I cannot listen to this anymore.
Right.
It sounds like we all have one-sided friendships.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But again, there's a lot going on in the planets that are retrograde. They're very specific feelings. So a lot of it has to do with, releasing, and you're going to be okay. Hold on. Because I want to get through Saturn real quick. Oh, okay. Oh, it's the next page. Okay, good. So the death is Scorpio or Pluto. And remember, you know what death is? Death is clearing away, new birth, clearing away all that old. Like you're a skeleton of a self when all is said and done. Temperance is Sagittarius. And so is Aquarius, by the way. The devil is Capricorn and sometimes Scorpio. The tower is Mars, which kind of makes sense because Mars is an explosive planet that gets rid of everything. It's a fighting planet. Take it to the dust, take it to the death. The star car is Aquarius and or Virgo. The moon is Pisces. Why did I think the moon was Cancer, though? Did anybody get that feeling? Yes, in some decks, the moon is Cancer. Okay, I appreciate that. Also, Neptune is also associated with Cancer. So again, if somebody says something, they may not be wrong. It could depend upon how they were taught. So I've also always associated the moon with Cancer. In the book, they're saying the moon is associated with Pisces. So we can say Pisces or Cancer. All right. The sun is the sun. However, again, I don't know why I thought the sun was associated with Leo. Because it is. But I don't see it here. What? The sun is associated with Leo.
Yes.
Yep, it is. On page 302, it says Aries/Leo, Sun, Aries/Sagittarius. All right, forget it. Sun is associated with the Sun and Leo. Judgment is also Pluto, and we just went over that because Pluto is also associated with death. So death and judgment is Pluto. And then we get the world, Saturn. And right now, Saturn is retrograde. And Saturn that's retrograde is here until September 18th. So remember, we're going to have three planets over the summer that's going to be retrograde. And then Mercury will be retrograde through June 7th through August 1st.
I can't.
So we might have a heavy summer. But don't look at it in a bad way. Remember, you're learning about this stuff to deal with it better.
It's a lot of work.
It's going to be a lot of work.
It's going to be a lot of work I'm going to be doing.
A lot of work. Just let me know who survives. But remember, we have to survive. That's why we're learning this stuff, right? Okay, so Saturn is the Lord of karma. Expect to receive karmic repercussions and reap the rewards for whatever you have sown since it was last here, September 6th. So, how have you all been acting since September 6th? Remember, karma can be a nice bitch.
Dude, I was a plum fool in last September. It was my birthday month.
No, from September to now.
Yeah, no, I was a plum fool.
Wait, all these months? Oh, no.
I didn't start getting the hang of myself until like December when I decided to start my own business.
What? Well, maybe you might have cleaned up your karma at starting your own business then. You know what I mean? Maybe you took care of 50% of your drama.
Yeah, because I figured that's like my New Year because it's my birth month. It's like my what is it? Saturn return, my sun return or whatever. So, well, it would be my Venus return.
Okay.
Because that's my sun planet. So I'm like, that's like my New Year. So I celebrate that like the whole time.
That is
I'm definitely
You're such a Libra. I don't even understand Libras. My son is a Libra, and he would celebrate it the same way.
Yeah. From the time Libra start to the time Libra ends, I accept gifts. From September 23rd to October 22nd, I accept
You're
gifts.
such a Libra. That is hilarious. Well, I would think making your oils was the beginning of some karmic challenges that you have been needing to work on, wanting to work on. It's a repayment time. Your hard work making your oils and all the good you have done has not gone unnoticed. Open, trust, and receive. See, you guys thought I was going to talk about karma in a bad way. No, karma can be a good friend. Because what matters is what are we putting out there? All right? And most people that I know in my world, we're all trying to put out good now. Like we're not trying to be anything other than operate well because we're too tired. Like we see the ugly now because we're in a different world. Sometimes it's important with Saturn retrograde to slow down and reassess. The world can wait. You have time. If you feel lost, it makes sense to stop. Look at the map, realign, get clear about your objectives, rework, plan, bring ideas to fruition, assess your limits, assess your beliefs, assess what you're holding back. Are you holding yourself back with restrictions and delays? Now, may turn out to be an intervention of wise curves who see the bigger picture. Attend to unfinished business before climbing the next mountain. So with Saturn retrograde, it's okay to just, I don't know, for me, diet and exercise. I'm working on me. And I'm working on my level of kindness, whatever that means. I think I just want to be better at it. I'm learning not to interfere. And it's been a practice I've already begun, by the way. Since my kids got married, I don't interfere with their lives. Period. And I'm happier that I'm not calling them and I'm like, so what's going on? What's happening? You don't need to be doing it this way. Because, by the way, I'm right. Always. they got to make their mistakes. They got to navigate whatever marriage looks like to them, even though I think they're like a bunch of 5-year-olds. They're no smarter than Ezra. But it's okay. It's what I've learned. So as I begun to step back, because they got married in August. So remember they said from September, I step back. And what I find interesting is that they call more often.
That sound like my daughter. I told my daughter the same thing. I said, I'm going to step back and you just do whatever decisions you make. You just make. I'm just going to step back.
Yes.
But since I've been saying that, it's almost like she keeps trying to pull me back in.
Talk to me. Talk to me.
Back.
Yeah.
And so I know what you mean by that. You want them to grow up and make their own choices. And, I tell her, I've always been so overprotective of her as a kid.
Yeah.
That even as an adult, I'm still that way, but not as bad. But now she'll tell me something about somebody she's dealing with or something like that, and I won't say, but I used to say, you need to leave them alone.
What the hell are you doing with him? What are you, an idiot? Get the fuck up. I didn't raise you to be that person. Now you have to be like,
right.
How?
And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
I always say to my son now, how do you plan to handle that? And he's like, Ma, I got it under control. Oh, yeah. I believe you.
Right.
You know what I mean? He broke up with one of his friends here in LA, and the only advice that I gave him was, you're grown, so you'll figure it out. You know? Normally it would have been like, hey, don't give up on your friends, da 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 da. And I was like, I don't know if I want to add all of that. I'm like, you'll figure it out.
Right.
Prior to going away, one of his friends for his wedding bailed on him, and so prior to that I was like, I hate him. Do you know what I mean? I was like, how could he do that to you? Like, you've known this guy for 10 plus years. How does he not come to your wedding? And then I was like telling him, I was like, you're never gonna forgive him. That was me. But I did say it out loud prior to the wedding. But right after they got married, I was like, I'm not getting in the middle of none of their friendships, their marriage. I don't care. When the baby, no one understood. They're like, are you coming? Nope. I'm going to let the mother be a mother. And by the time I get there, she's going to be so goddamn tired of being a mother, she's going to give me that baby. All right, let's get some readings out the way. What's your question, Callie? Go for it.
Okay, a couple of years ago, I had a coworker that was kind of like a friend. Long story short, incident happened. I apologized for it from my end, and I ended up dropping the friendship because I felt like I was being controlled, or she was trying to control the friendship. It was just too much. It was too much for me to deal with. The Libra, too much.
Right.
So I just stopped talking to her. Anytime somebody calls me 5 times or more, like they my man, I can't deal with you. So, long story short, I don't talk to her at all. At work, I barely make eye contact with her.
You work with her?
Yes, I met her at work. We do work together. We don't have that much interaction with each other other than passing in the hallway. Right. So I don't make eye contact with her. Long story short, I don't talk about her to anybody else. When they bring her up, I shut down the conversation. Right. I would do that. Right. Yeah. Evidently, I'm training someone right now who said, "Oh, by the way, I'm with Callie in such and such courtroom, and she's training me." And she's like, "Oh, you down there with her?" Oh. So, my question is, why she still got a problem? What, Nadia?
I'm out of control, and they check my attitude. Because the first thing that came to my mind is, first of all, why you even mention my name? That's what I'd be thinking, but see, you better than me. So yeah, I ain't gonna think.
Oh, trust me, I thought it. I thought it. But I was just like, it's been 2+ years. Why you still, why is still on you?
Right.
Why is still a problem for you? I don't deal with you. I don't make eye contact. I feel like if I say hello to her, she feel like it's a way back into my life, and I don't want that. So I don't say anything to her at all.
What did you want to ask, Kelly?
So my question is, why is this still a problem for her?
What is her problem?
Yeah.
Whoever wants to go first, you can start. Cash! Fuck you up. Stop it. I saw you. Stop.
Well, my first position card is 5 of Cups.
No, Callie, I'm going to have you go last.
Okay, sorry.
Anybody else ready? Remember, there are no wrong answers.
So it looks like she thinks that she's confused about something that you've done to her. And she thinks you did something. It's almost like she thinks you stabbed her in the back. And she's confused about it. And she doesn't know how to balance that confusion.
Mm-hmm.
She's been thinking about what could be going on, but she really doesn't know what's going on with why y'all turned out. You know, your personalities have turned out like they have turned out.
That makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, she doesn't really understand the confusion. She's like, because I have the 7 of Swords.
I have that too, yes.
And that's underneath her. So that's something that and then I have the 2 of Swords in my hopes and fears. So there's some confusion. She's been trying to balance things out.
I got Temperance too.
But she doesn't understand how to balance it all out. So she's been evaluating it. Trying to figure it out. And I have the Ace of Swords which is the second card. So she's been trying to figure it out, but she can't figure out why y'all have this conflict. And that's what's upsetting her, because she can't figure it out.
Okay.
Because do you know her sign?
She's a Scorpio.
Mm-hmm.
And Scorpio is in. What card is Scorpio? Oh, that's the Death card.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I have 4 fours, and that's balance. And the Temperance. So, but the Temperance is a 5. But that's what I was saying. Is she's confused. So you know when you're confused about how to deal with the person, that it irritates you, so you take it out on the person.
Mm-hmm.
So that's basically what she's doing. She's taking it out on you because she doesn't understand what your problem is. She's basically blaming it on you, because now people are blaming it on somebody else before they blame it on themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So you're to blame.
Yeah. But I did at the end, when I told her the situation, I did apologize for my end if she felt like I did wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And I left it at that. But she kept going on with it. I was just always like,
Yeah.
So there was a situation, though.
Hmm.
There was a situation.
Yeah.
I'm getting that she feels like she wasn't treated fairly. She's feeling like she wasn't treated fairly. I'm getting that the relationship has had up and downs, and it's cycling out now.
Mm-hmm.
And the outcome is independence. So, you won't get that friendship back like it was.
What I'm getting here is your promotion. When you got moved, it's a little jealousy behind that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I moved up before she did.
Yeah, it's a little jealousy behind that moving up.
Yeah.
That happened with you. And what is, I hate to tell you, but this friendship, it'll never be mended. Because she's jealous of everything that's happened. That's why when the trainee came to you, I don't see a clarity to this at all. All I see is that you got the promotion that she's been wanting forever, like since the day she got there. And because of that, you could never be friends again.
And what's funny is that when I got to be a court clerk, I gave her the material for her to take the test.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like something was there with that.
Yeah, I encouraged her to take the test, and when the test came up, she didn't. I said, well, you still got the material. You got enough time. She went and got her degree for criminal justice. I said, good. You got the footing, so go ahead and take the test. You already got it. So then she finally did it.
Yeah, it's a jealousy thing. It's not. It's nothing that you did to her. It's her own insecurities that's kind of messed up here. It's nothing you done. I mean, you could have did everything. You could have y'all could have studied together. You could have did everything. But it's like Tracy was saying, when you have those opportunities and you don't take them, but somebody else takes that opportunity, all that is just her with her own insecurities, her own jealousy. There is nothing you did wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing. That's all I see in mind.
Okay.
Stephanie, what do you see?
3 men show up.
Yeah, 3 men showed up with me too.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
King of Wands, King of Swords, King of Pentacles.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what that means. There are men around. So I get the Page of Wands, which is like good news. I think she's hoping for some good news. The sun's above it. I don't know why I feel like hope with this.
What position is the sun?
It's Yeah, the fifth. So, the thoughts.
The crown.
The crown.
My thoughts.
Yeah, the crown.
Crowns. And the base is 2 of cups. Ace of cups. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
So I feel like I don't know. She wants hope, but then the Emperor is crossing, and I feel like that's control. Like I need to have power. I need to have control. But then we get the 10 of swords, like the backstabbing thing we were kind of talking about.
Yeah.
With speed, like this, and did it end quickly? Like did you out?
Yeah, I was like, I'm just out. I'm just out.
Yeah, that's how I feel like that. But the last card is a 10 of cups, which I think is harmony.
It's what now?
Some sort of harmony, like after everything settles, you know, you're just gonna go about your way. You know, you're gonna do your thing, she's gonna do her thing. I think at some point she's gonna just give up, you know? This also means like the end of something, but the start of something else. So, I don't know. The cards are a little confusing to me.
Well, I think you were hitting on it. For Annette, I definitely saw. I hear you when you say temperance is balance, but temperance is also a timed card. So it could be something that might have been hovering for a long time. You might have thought you had a friend. Because I get temperance too. Like you, Stephanie, I do get 3 men. So I also think that you might get good things said about you.
I do.
And I think that's where the men come in. And I get the Ace of Cups and the Sun. I get that as these men saying nice things about Callie. With you, Nadia, it definitely was. There was definitely a shift in the offering. Like the shift was the finale for her.
Right.
Although she's been acting this way for quite some time. All right. And Erica, I forgot what you said. Did you also get time too, or temperance, or something like that?
And go up in front.
Erica, do you remember?
So I didn't have a temperance card.
What did you say? Because I meant to document in my head what you said.
That she felt like she was treated unjustly.
Yes.
Cycle for this friendship. There was a cycle for a time for this friendship. That cycle's over. And
Yeah, but
they're going to go their separate ways.
yeah, but I think my impression that I got was that she felt like she was being treated unfairly, like maybe for some time. I don't think she felt this way overnight, even if it wasn't recognized overnight. And in my deck, I really get the Tower card. This relationship is over. Period.
Here you go, Sven.
Don't worry about what she says or talks about you.
Oh, appreciate it.
It's always going to be that way.
Thank
She's
you.
very, very sneaky now. So she's at the point.
I can't hear you, Troy.
Oh, Annette,
Are you busy right now?
Annette, put your mic on. Put your mic on.
Yeah, this is been right here. All right.
Thank you. I get the High Priestess as harboring some ill will toward you for a while. It may have
Yeah, I
gotten,
got the High Priestess as my final card.
yes, maybe for the last 2 years, maybe for the 2 years before your friendship broke up. There's just something that was always there. And it just looks to me like Stephanie had a lot to do with people just liking you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get that because when I got to her department, back to her department, I knew most of the people there anyway because I worked with them. I was just doing a stint down there until I went up to the courtroom.
Right.
And I'm a Libra, I'm friendly. and they warned me not to be friends with her. But of course, me trying to be open-minded and say,
Libra,
you know,
yeah. Why should you listen to people?
yeah, yeah. I just feel like, you know, somebody got to cross. I have to decide for myself.
Yes.
Yeah, and I bit off more than I could chew with this one, and it did end very abruptly because I couldn't take it. It was just too much. I tried to apologize for my end,
Mm-hmm.
and she went full force Scorpio on me, with everybody around me trying to destroy my character and this, that, and other, and da 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 da. And I was just like, you know what? I'm done with you. Done. We're not talking. We're not hanging out. We're done. Because she used to try to occupy my time. I have a husband. You can't occupy my time. My husband does that. And like I said, she used to. I am kind of leaving some stuff out, but
It's okay.
there was a thing where she did, you know, she was trying to get in contact with me before I got into my house to deal with my husband, to be with my husband, and decompress, like, you know, normal people do after work.
Yeah.
And me and my husband ended up in an argument, so I couldn't get her phone call. And she was calling me like she was my man, like every 5 seconds. And I'm like, dude, that was the straw that broke the camel back for that one. I was just like, no, because that made him even more upset.
Yeah, but she's sick. There's a sickness there. I meant to tell you that.
Because I did pick up that she was kind of controlling and always wanted to hang out after work, and I don't do that type of stuff with coworkers. But I did acquiesce a few times. I used to drive her home and stuff like that. So I was just like, it's no big deal. You know, I could drive you home, drop you off. I could pick you up from home, and we go into the same bloody place. It's no big deal. But it just became overwhelming and too much. I should have listened to people when they said, don't mess with that one.
Codependence.
Yeah. And like I said, I felt like she was, I started seeing it for what it was. Because I was hearing the same stuff from other people that tried to be her friend.
Right.
Yeah. That's called codependence. She's dependent on you.
Yes. Yes. And it wouldn't even surprise me if she was even trying to ruin your relationship with your husband, you know? In a slick kind of way. Like, she's a little weird.
Does she have a husband?
They're divorced now.
Is that uncomfortable friendship?
It was. And that's why I was like, I can't do this. This is some toxicity that I don't need in my life.
But she also feels like a negative Scorpio, so this isn't something she's going to get rid of. It's her personality. You're going to have to be like, oh, that's her.
That's
next
exactly
time you
what I
hear
do. Like, I don't
something.
see why you guys aren't surprised that's her.
Right. The next time you hear something, you have to be like, oh, that's her. You know what I mean? Like, let it go. Like, she can't win because she seems a little bipolar, you know? And she can't win harboring all this energy. And I'm surprised it even came out. Like, it seems like it was quiet for a couple of years, even though you guys are still working in the same place. It feels like it's the first time you've ever heard anything out of her mouth. But people like this, now that the cat's out of the bag, you might hear more things.
I've been hearing it for a while.
Oh.
But people are just like, they know how she is.
Yes.
And they know how I am. So
Right.
they just like, they listen to her, but don't listen to her.
Right.
They're like the ones that's telling me stuff about her, and I tell them to stop because I don't want to hear it.
No, you don't want to hear it
They
anymore.
say like, they're tired of her.
Again,
And I'm just like, well,
Scorpios are fixed energy. Her Uranus and Taurus, this is her shadow. She's going to have to deal with whatever she's putting out there. Remember, that's also which planet? Is it Pluto?
Pluto.
or Saturn between
Mhm.
September and now. What's your karma been like? Pluto makes you deal with your ugly.
Mhm.
All you have to do is sit back and watch, but don't step into this near no way. Do not step
Yeah.
into
I
it.
don't engage.
Don't engage. Just be like, oh, that's who she is.
Cause she tries so hard. I remember one time I was down in the record room pulling my files, and she realized I was down there, and she talked extra loud to try and get my attention.
I hate
And
those people.
I kept doing my business and left. And she couldn't take it. She couldn't take the fact that me and the supervisor down there took walks every morning, and she wasn't part of it.
So friendship ended.
Yep.
Period. Whatever she's dealing with, she's gonna have to figure out how to deal with it on her own. But if she's not healthy, this gets revved up in her, not with you.
Okay.
All right, this is her lesson, and it's going to be a hard lesson because everyone's got a clean house now.
Mhm.
And all these planets retrograde, oh my God, I can't even imagine. Does everybody feel good about the reading?
I do.
Thank you. I think we were pretty much on the same page, pretty much saying the same thing. So if you had gotten an individual reading from any one of us, you still would have come to the same outcome.
Okay.
Just said differently. And that's how you know we're working it. We're doing the right things. Very similar cards, very similar energies, very similar language. That's the most important thing. What I said was no different than Erica, Nadia, Annette, Stephanie. Very similar. But don't be intimidated, guys. There's no wrong answers. Just breathe and speak what you see. It'll make sense as you begin speaking.
Okay.
All right, guys, let's call it a night. In 2 weeks, movie night.
Okay.
And that'll be the end of the class. And in 2 weeks, movie night in 2 weeks, and I'm inviting the beginners class in, so the babies will come in for movie night.
Do you know what movie we'll be watching?
Collateral Beauty.
Will Smith?
Yeah.
Oh, bingo. Okay, I get you.
There's other movies I want to watch with you guys. What was the name of it? It's a really good movie. Something about the closet. The prayer closet or something like that.
That was good.
That was good. You saw it, right?
Yeah.
That was good.
What is it?
It might have been called the
I
prayer
don't remember
room.
what the name of it was.
The prayer
Is it War?
War Room.
War
It was
Room.
War Room.
Yeah.
Yeah, with Priscilla Shire.
I
Yes.
don't know the actress, but okay, Erica knows. Yeah, that was good. But we'll watch Collateral Beauty, and I'll figure out how to put the War Room on my TV because I got it off of Amazon.
Okay.
But we'll figure it out because I have the Fire Stick now.
Can I ask a question before we get out?
Yeah.
Who makes the oils in here?
Who makes the what?
Callie.
The oils?
Callie.
Me.
Oh, the oils. Yes.
I just made 2 more. I haven't added to the shop, which is pain relief and stress relief.
Wow.
Okay.
Do we rub it on, or do you put
Yes.
it in a candle?
The pain relief you don't put in the candle. That's something that you it's a family recipe. You put that on your body. So whatever muscle pain you have, it takes up to 3 days to get rid of. Any joint or bone pain takes about a week or so. And it's like twice a day, once in the morning, once at night application.
Get dogs take this.
It's made with peanut oil, so I haven't tried it with any animal.
Okay.
Oh, it's made with peanut oil.
Uh-huh.
Are you allergic to peanuts?
But I'm working
I
on the
got in my
non-peanut.
home.
I'm working on a non-peanut one.
Okay.
So the other oils are not made with peanut oil, right?
No, they're made with grapeseed oil
Okay.
and almond oil.
I've been using your oils.
You have?
What?
Which ones did you get?
I have all
you
three of them.
Ah! It's connecting now.
You got the money one, didn't you? How's it been working for you?
All three. I have all three.
Oh, really? How's it been working for you? Hit or miss?
Hit or miss.
When
But
when
you
did
get
you?
the effect.
But when did you get it
I
though?
am. I think I
March.
purchased one by itself, and then I purchased the other two.
Because I
And I purchased all three.
have a 3-month rule to see things come about.
Oh no, I'm not saying that they're very effective.
Oh.
That's why I asked who made them.
Oh.
Because they're very, very effective.
Oh,
I
good.
think actually to get the out of here oil, get out one. I've been using that one a whole lot. And believe it or not, it's kind of helping with the
Yeah, I use that every day. That's the only way I can get through my job.
Wow.
So I'm wondering, am I doing it a disservice by the way I used it? Because what I did was I placed it in some other oils.
It could be mixed.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because that's what I did. I placed it in something else. So it's like so I misspray it.
That's
Yeah.
smart.
Yeah, so I misspray it. And it's kind of like on me all the time.
Mm. Also,
So
if you misspray it, put glycerin. Glycerin holds the oil better.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm. You just get it from
Hello?
Amazon.
Yeah, as long as it's working.
Mhm.
And you get it back, so that's great.
Mhm.
Well, yeah, I've seen a lot of effects from all three of them. I would say all three of them work very well. Very well.
Right. I'm happy. I'm glad
But what I did notice, and I will say this, what I have noticed is I've got Tracy's oil and I have your oil also. But they have two different effects.
Mhm.
Yeah.
My oils go with the candles.
Then okay, so you can't use your oils other than for candles.
Well, they're made fresh, so you can use them any way you want. But it was designed to go in candles, but you could use it any way you want. There's no chemicals in it, so.
Mhm.
Okay. I only asked this question because I had an idea the other day that I'd like to put one of hers and one of yours together
Go for
to
it.
see what the outcome would be.
Yeah, because it might amplify.
It
Yeah.
might amplify. Go for it. Let us know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when I did my candle, although I showcased Callie's oil, I put Callie's oil in and my oil.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that was where my question was leading to, because I used them both together.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've used them separately, and like I said, both of them are very effective.
Mm-hmm.
Both are. But as for the situation, like I said, I have going on, I think I want to put some more protection in it, along with to get them out of here.
The protection is to get that out of here.
Yeah.
That's for, and also, I got 3 new ones. I got a Hex oil, a Hex and curse breaking oil. And
Oh my God! You have to let me showcase them. People love that stuff. I don't promote it, but people love that shit.
I I know. I just haven't gotten down to like take the official pictures and everything and put them in there. And I gotta change the my info for each oil now to make it a little bit better.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm glad you're enjoying the oils. I'm so very happy. Spread the word, spread the love.
Yes.
I will. I will.
And follow me on Instagram.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Well, I'll look you up on the gram.
And I'm almost finished with my website, so please allow me to take your products and put them on my website, and so that when they click on it, it goes straight to you.
Yeah, because I'm working on a logo and everything like that.
But let me know the paint oil. So I'd like to get that.
I got it all worked. Actually, I can go ahead and. I mean, it's already made and it's already bottled. So I just have to add it to the shop. So I'll add it and then it'll be ready.
Okay.
I'll take a blind picture. It'll be ready after tomorrow.
Okay. I could wait for the
Yeah, I'll
all
take
this
some pictures tomorrow.
All right.
What's your Instagram handle?
What you say?
KEMISIS Apothecary. APOTHECARY.
Followed by Tracy Brown.
Yeah.
Wait, what happened?
Is that it?
Yes, that's me.
Okay. I'm gonna follow you.
Yeah, if you see a blue lotus up there, that's me.
Okay.
Hey, I'm following you now.
Thank you.
Yay.
I'll follow back.
All right, guys. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Next week,
Thank you.
a whole
Have a good
class.
night.
I'll be hosting very soon, Callie.
Okay. What you
Next
say,
week,
Tracy?
Uranus and Taurus. A whole class on Uranus and Taurus. This is what we're
Next
all living through. Uranus
No,
and
that's
Taurus.
what we're living through now.
That's what we're living
Okay.
through for 6 years. So it's going to be really important to see the demise of things.
Can we see the demise of Trump doing this now? Sorry.
It's in his Uranus and Taurus. Absolutely. It's here.
It's his head serves up his anus.
Let's remember, though, Trump is here for the greater good.
He's here for a reason.
He's here for a reason. What it is, I don't know, because by the time we find out, we're going to be so shell-shocked. Like, you're going to be like, oh, that was the reason, God? We had to learn that way? But I think what I'm loving, what's coming out of this slowly, racism in everyone is being shown, but not being so racist anymore, I think is what's also being shown. I think people are recognizing being blatantly open is not working now. So they're starting to not just pull back, because I don't believe everybody's racist. I think the masses is a mob mentality. I think it's ignorance. So, but if you catch somebody in a corner by themselves, they'll be like, I'm not racist. And I believe that part of them. I think you're ignorant following the group. But it's getting to quiet down on how individuals are being so blatant. So, with that being said, I don't know. I think what should come out of this more than anything is immigration reform. And I mean that. And the Democrats, I'm sorry, they are not doing their job. I am sorry. They are not.
They're annoying.
There should be...
They're not doing nothing.
Right. They should be there protesting at the gate every day. They should not be in Congress in suits. I'm
It's
just
like they're
saying.
scared.
Huh?
Yes, exactly. They're fearful.
They're a bunch of old, tired people. They need to
But
get rid of
fear
our
is not
voting
the answer anymore. Like, if you can't do your job, then leave. Then they need to be voted out.
Yeah, they need more some of that.
It's
What's that
twofold.
new chick?
Trump is twofold. Trump is an
AOC?
individual, and then
Yeah.
and
We need more of her.
Yeah.
yes. But here's the thing: Trump is an individual, and America is Congress and the Senate. So there's two things that are going on here. And if people have fear for their jobs, that means they can't do their job. That means they don't care about their constituents. So they need to get voted out. Period.
Yeah.
We want some blood that's gonna fight now.
It's not just. I don't think it's just going to be. Immigration reform. It's going to be a governmental reform.
Yeah, I hope so.
Because things can't keep going the way it's been going.
Yeah, like they've already made it so that any president after this has to show their taxes. I didn't know it was an option. Trump knew.
Yeah.
No one knew it was an option. Now it's no longer an option. They're making sure it's a law. But that's governmental reform.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Trump is here for a reason. Let's look at what those reasons are.
Yeah.
And let's watch him get on his Trump plane and I hate you, America, and get on his Trump plane. We gotta get those readings to come out true. We gots to.
I don't think he'll
Don't
get,
let us do candle magic on it. That's gonna be my last thing. Which one? Get the fuck out of here, oil? I think we should all do a Trump, get the fuck out of here.
Send them that oil.
Or just work some candle magic on them.
That's what I mean. Do some candle magic with your oil. Get the fuck out of here. That would be funny. I would organize that, but I know YouTube would shut me down.
Yeah. That'd be hilarious.
That would be the best. All right, guys. Good night. Good night. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, and I sit too long. Oh, man, am I sitting too long? I gotta exercise my knees now. I'm gonna find another chair. Let's see what comes on tonight.